Welcome back. Over the past several months, I've done a ton of woodworking and I recorded some footage and made photos of a bunch of that, but I haven't had a chance to look through it and edit and make videos, but I'm going to try. Today, I just want to give my opinion on a couple of small products that I bought during the course of that time, and one is a sliding T-bevel, which I'm holding upside down, but this is an Empire sliding T-bevel, which basically just has a wing nut here, and you loosen this, and you can move this around to match an angle on something that you're building. Say you have an angle on one part that you need to reproduce on another one, you just match this with that and tighten the knob, so that you can take that same angle over to another piece of material to mark a line, or if you're, attaching something, you can make sure and attach it or cut it at the same angle that you cut something else. I'd never had one before. I found out about this kind of tool on YouTube watching woodworking videos. And so I bought this while making a mobile clamp rack, which was going to have a flat base and leaning sides. And I wanted the leaning board on this side to match the leaning board on that side. So I went out and bought this tool. Now my problem with this one was twofold. Number one, after you tighten it, just really small taps on this will change the angle. Like I tightened this wing nut as hard as I could without hurting my fingers or using a tool. I didn't want to use like channel locks to tighten this up because I thought I might strip the screw or something and then I wouldn't be able to loosen it again. But anyway, as tight as I can get it with my finger, sometimes just tapping on this will change the angle. Another problem that I noticed right away is that sometimes the angle changes while I'm tightening, and I guess maybe the turning of the screw pulls the metal inside, and so it would change just a little bit. And I thought I saw it happening, but I wasn't sure, so I matched the angle again, and sure enough, it didn't match what I had started with. So I loosened, matched the angle, started tightening, and when I finally did get it right, brought it over to the other piece of material, and I pressed it up against it, this just moved. I'm barely touching this, and it just moves. So it's basically useless to me, unless you know of something I'm doing wrong. But anyway, this is a nice block of machined aluminum, and I kind of wish that it was an exact measurement across, or the thickness or the width or something, so I could use it as a setup block, but it's not. I just measured it with both millimeters and imperial, and it wasn't really an exact useful measurement in either direction. Otherwise, I might use it, to push up against something to check for that measurement, but it's basically a useless tool. So while thinking about what to do about that, I finished the clamp rack without it, just kind of eyeballing the angles, and it got pretty close enough for me to use. During that time, I happened to be in Harbor Freight, and I found a much cheaper one that was made out of plastic, and it had a different type of knob on it, and I thought, well, maybe that one will work. Now this one's a little harder to turn because this knob is flat here, as you can see, but with enough pressure, you can get it to loosen, and the same thing, you can pull this out. This one has the slight improvement of it has actual measurements on it, so you can also use it as a ruler, and there's a little bubble level. So I thought, well, it could come in handy for those reasons, but the main thing is, can I tighten it? So I tightened this up. Again, some very thin knob, tighten it as hard as you can, leaving little grooves on your fingertips to check the measurement, and it's a little sturdier. I was surprised by that. It holds the angle better than the metal Empire one, but it still moves a little bit. You don't have to put much pressure on it to get it to move. A little bit more pressure than the other one, but it didn't move with a tap. I had to squeeze on it to get it to move. And then again, it's difficult to loosen and to retighten, but it was better than the other one. So I thought, okay, maybe I've solved my problem. But both of those have the problem of the little knob sticking out. So if this side is pressed against your material, it can't rest flush because how far that knob sticks out, you have to turn it over the other way. But sometimes that doesn't work because one piece of material, the board is on the outside of the project, and the other piece of the material, the board's on the inside of the project, or something like that. And so you need both sides to be able to sit flush. And the cheap one from Harbor Freight is really close, but I think you can see if I set this straight edge on there, that knob actually does sit above the flat surface of the body. So you can't hold that side flush against the material because of how far that little screw sticks out. So even though the Harbor Freight one was an improvement over the more expensive Empire one, it still wasn't exactly what I needed. Until I came across this smaller one from Shinwa, I believe is how you say that, Shinwa. It's a Japanese company, and it says it's made in Japan. Now it's smaller than the other ones. I mean, compared to the Empire one, the Shinwa is tiny. It's 3/4 of the length or maybe less, and it's smaller even than the Harbor Freight one. But it doesn't have a knob or a screw or a wing nut on the sides. It has this little hook screw on the end, which is fairly easy to loosen, and it works the same way as the others. It pulls out, it adjusts, you set the angle, and then you tighten it by turning this. Now this one, when I tightened it and tapped it, it didn't move at all. And if I squeeze hard enough, I can get it to move, but I have to squeeze pretty hard. Okay, I'm moving it. There it goes. And again, left grooves in my fingers. But this one tightens up nicely, and it loosens easily, and it can sit flush on either side. So I found this one to be highly superior to either one of those, despite being slightly shorter. I don't know that I'll ever need that extreme length from the Empire. This one should be enough. So if you have a sliding T-bevel that works for you, great. But if you don't, you have one that doesn't work or it's too loose, maybe try this Shinwa. Now, on a related note, I found a kind of a similar tool recently after I got the Shinwa and became happy with it. And I'm going to get rid of those other two, especially the Empire. I think I'm going to put it in my recycling bin. But this tool has a wingnut, and it has a folding out ruler that has markings on it, both imperial and metric, and it can measure angles, and it has 1, 2, 3 little bubble levels in it, and it has a little scribe here, little pointy thing that you can use to mark lines with, which is kind of nice, and it screws in here for storage, kind of like you see on a combination square. And I thought I was going to be able to use this as kind of a sliding T-bevel, but you can't because the little round part of the end sticks out slightly further, just a hair, maybe 0.5 millimeter, than the end of the ruler. So when you go to measure an angle, the little bump of the round circle on the end sticks out past it, but you can measure an angle on the inside, and you can measure distances and make sure something is level and scribe a line. Oh, and it also shows angles inside this little window here. On those others, you don't actually know what the angle is. You don't know if it's 22 degrees or 37 degrees, but you know it's going to be the same from one piece of material to the other one. On this one, you can actually see what the angle is. But it'll show you that, that's 45 degrees. It says in the little window there. I'm trying to get it to focus without glare, but not having much luck. Anyway, so this one turned out to be pretty handy. And when you tighten it, it does hold. So this one combined with the Shinwa, I think will help me out a lot in future projects. Hopefully that information is useful to you. Again, that was Shinwa, S-H-I-N-W-A, which I assume is transcribed from Japanese characters, Japanese sounds. And they also make a few other small, pretty useful woodworking tools, a couple of which I have picked up after getting this and being happy with it, and I'm happy with those two. I'll hit them in later videos. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time.